Hey guys, welcome back to another little mini chit chat video. Good morning, everyone. Before we go ahead and get into this morning's topic, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Shout out to all our Purple Heart members. Thank you guys for all of your support. You guys will see this video once it re-uploads on YouTube. So thank you for your support in advance. Um, I don't even know what day. What day is it? Today is the 16th or the 17th. It's Vlogtober. One of them days. I don't even remember anymore. um, but anyway, I'm just getting up and I decided that I'm gonna go live. I wanted to go ahead and talk about this topic. But I didn't want to sit in the dark. I didn't want to sit in the dark. But I also didn't want to get up and get ready and do all of that. But I did want to, sit and talk to you guys this morning. So I wanted to talk about this whole Halloween situation. All week, I've been kind of making jokes with people, saying stuff like, you don't even need Halloween anymore. All you have to do is like take your parents to the store and show them like how much the new Switch 2 costs, $6.99. That should scare them. Like, I've been making these little corny jokes all week. But then you really stop and think about it. I've been talking to some of my friends, people who actually, hand out candy and do the whole shebang. They decorate their house, they decorate the front yard, they put on a whole show in the neighborhood for the kids and all that. And they're saying that it's so expensive this year. $12.99 last time when I went to Walmart, I believe. Yeah, $12.99 for the box of chips that you would normally hand out. $12.99 for the chips. The big bag with the candies, super, super, super expensive. Um, the costumes, super expensive this year. Just the whole overall um Halloween thing is expensive this year. If you're trying to throw a party, it's expensive. Buying the drinks, getting all that stuff together, that's super expensive. Um, yeah, just everything about just that one day has become like really expensive. So a lot of people are saying like, um, they wouldn't mind going back to the more traditional Halloween where like you were able to, people used to pop popcorn, put it in the bags, make like little snack bags. You would go knock on the doors and you get like little homemade treats. Cotton, not cotton candy, candy apple was another big one. Like little homemade treats, and kids, we used to love them growing up. Of course, then Halloween kind of took a dark turn. People started putting like weird stuff. And then I know for Canada, like they ended up banning, like you can't do homemade treats and stuff anymore. It has to be like sealed in a packaging from a reputable company. It can't be like no name weird candies, none of that stuff. And people are really, really thorough nowadays with checking the candy and stuff before the kids have a chance to get into it. So that's kind of different in that aspect. A lot of people are saying, well, the people I spoke to that usually, like I said, they celebrate Halloween, they do the costume parties, they hand out the candy, they decorate the front yard, they do the trick-or-treating in their neighborhoods. They're saying it's really expensive. People are buying like one big box of chips and that's it. When it's done, it's done. So there won't be as much candy as there were in previous years, which may not be a bad thing. I mean, may not be a bad thing, but just the overall feel of it this year has been a little different, a little bit rushed, I would say. Like when you go into the stores, you have Halloween, then you have Christmas, Halloween, then Christmas. It's just like right there. It's just like there is no real separation of the festivities, if that makes sense. So that's changed too. I remember growing up, each festivity or each season had its timeline. You didn't really intermix. Or maybe I was a kid, so I didn't really know. But it just felt like we were doing it one thing at a time. Now it's kind of like all rushed together. So that's kind of changed as well. What else? Um, the time the time that Halloween is. Hi, good morning. Thank you for joining. Um, Shout out to you. What I was gonna say before I lose my train of thought. The timing for Halloween this year is kind of like there's so much like crazy stuff happening already in the world. It's like the whole scary thing is like it's not even, I don't know if you guys kind of catch what I'm saying. It's like the world is so crazy that what's Halloween compared to like the freaking news. Just turn on the TV if you want like a good scare, right? Real life has become super super scary. So I just feel like the whole Halloween scary vibe is just off. Maybe that's just me this year. I just feel like there's just so much crap going on in the world that I don't know. I just feel like Halloween is just like, just another day with more crazy shit happening. Sorry, excuse my language, more crazy stuff happening. Um, so yeah, there's that. And yeah, just Halloween overall has become really, really expensive. Candy, chips, everything, costumes. People are trying to have parties, drinks, super expensive. So everything is like really scaled back. So that kind of takes away from the festivities. I see parents when I go out, kids are like wanting particular costumes. You know how kids are. Everybody wants Miss Rachel, everybody wants like Bluey, everybody wants last year was Paw Patrol. These costumes are now like 30, 40, $50. And you're having like a lot of parents having to, kind of dial it back, go back to like homemade costumes, which is not necessarily a bad thing, maybe not necessarily a bad thing, but in terms of, it's for the kids. You don't really penny pinch with the kids, but this year a lot of people have had to really, really scale it back. So I just thought it was interesting. I wanted to see how you guys feel about it. Do you celebrate Halloween? When I was growing up, to be honest, we didn't really celebrate Halloween. My mother, we used to be the house with all the lights off. We didn't hand out candy, but we were allowed to go trick or treating once we were like in middle school, like grade 8, grade 9. We went trick or treating. That was cool. But we never handed out candy. Our house was pitch black. Everybody was in the back, and all the lights were off in the front. So let me know if you guys grew up celebrating Halloween. Are you celebrating it this year? Do you find it super expensive? Especially if you're one of those people who are really into Halloween. Like some people go all out. In my neighborhood, the kids have a ball because all the houses are decorated to the T. They got all the ghosts on the porches, they got the pumpkins, they got all type of stuff, people jumping out the bushes. um of course Jesus is king. What kind of question is that? Of course Jesus is king, friend. Of course Jesus is king. God is good every time, all the time. So yeah, so like I said, for the people who do celebrate Halloween, some people don't. Some people think it's like a pagan holiday and all of that stuff, and to each their own. I live in North America, I'm North American, so they do celebrate Halloween. It is a personal choice. Like I said, I didn't grow up celebrating it, but I made sure that my daughter took part trick-or-treating with her friends. I dressed her up, I took her out, I made her collect candy. We came home, we checked the candy, and that was it. But I personally didn't hand out candy because I personally don't celebrate Halloween. um okay, so you're a Muslim. Well, that's good. I don't have any issues with that. I have no really thoughts and opinions on people's personal religious beliefs and what religious beliefs they choose. That's kind of like an individual choice. So I don't really get into religion in that aspect. But I do respect your stance. And, I believe what I believe, and you believe what you believe. And that's pretty much that on that. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to kind of come and sit and talk about this morning. I thought it was an interesting topic as we get closer and closer to the date, and it is Vlogtober, so it's kind of appropriate, right? But it is a really, really interesting question and a really interesting topic, because if the world keeps going the way it's going, like, I mean, these holidays, they come and go. Thanksgiving for me was last weekend. I live in Canada, so we celebrate Thanksgiving in October. In the States, they do it in November. Excuse me. So yeah, Thanksgiving came and went pretty quickly. It was just, another long weekend. We were grateful, of course, to gather and spend time, but it was not as festive as it used to be. Like, maybe I'm just being nostalgic. I think maybe I'm just getting older, where I'm starting to just reflect. Everything is comparison to childhood, but it doesn't feel like that long ago. I'm only 47, so it doesn't feel like that long ago when it was just a different time. Like, it was just so different. We had the Bay, we had Sears, we had Zellers, we had Kmart, we had like these big box stores where like the holidays were like a huge deal. Like, it was a big deal to have like that time off with your family. You went shopping, you had Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Well, that's coming for the States, but you guys know what I mean. You had like these huge sales where you would gather with your family, go to the mall, go shopping, just really, really get into the holidays. And I feel like that's probably come and gone. Let me know what you guys think about that. But I do remember that festive feeling. You were getting ready, you were choosing costumes, not just for Halloween, but people, like in Canada, we're celebrating Thanksgiving. People are like rushing to get turkey and cranberry and stuffing, and the supermarkets were packed. Like, you had to book your time at the butcher if you wanted to get your turkey legs, if you wanted to get your turkey done. It was a big deal. Thanksgiving was huge. Pies would be selling out like crazy. Apple pie, pumpkin pie, all that stuff. This year, the grocery store was like basically empty. It was not, there was no rush. There was like, and there wasn't that abundance of availability. Like, there was stuff there, of course, if you wanted to buy, but it was expensive. So a lot of people were, excuse me, excuse me, a lot of people were kind of trying to decide what they were gonna do. A lot of people were complaining about the cost of the turkeys this year. They were expensive. A lot of people were just, it wasn't as festive as I remember Thanksgiving being when I was growing up. And I really hope that's not how it is going forward, because it was pretty glum. It was pretty glum. People didn't do big dinners this year. People kept to their immediate family. Some people even kept it just to the people in the household. There were no big invitations. There were no, I remember, you'd be leaving Thanksgiving dinner with like Tupperware filled with stuff. You'd be eating Thanksgiving dinner for like the week. There'd be leftovers. If you were lucky enough to have multiple places to go to, you'd be collecting dishes along the way. That was kind of another little fun traditional thing people like to do on Thanksgiving. They like to stop by and collect their plates as they go. It was kind of like a running traditional joke everybody did. This year it was very subdued. People just really kept their dinners really small and intimate, because it was expensive, and the cost of travel is expensive, so people weren't flying in like they normally would from all over the country. Again, people are opting to stay home and keep their dinners small. Some people still did their big spreads, but it wasn't as more, it was very more on a smaller scale. Sorry. But yeah, that's just kind of where we are in the whole Vlogtober, Halloween, Thanksgiving vibe over here. Let me know, like I said, if you guys are doing Halloween. Let me know if you're celebrating Thanksgiving, if you've already celebrated it, if it's coming up for you like in the States. Are you doing a big spread this year? Are you scaling it back? Do you find that the cost of maybe putting on that particular festivity has has gone up? So yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys so much for those of you who did stop by. We appreciate your time as always. Stay up and stay blessed, and we'll catch up with you guys in another video. Deuces.